Hello everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Veil Tarot and Astrology. Happy Friday, hope you guys are well. We're live on the channel doing tarot readings this evening. Give me a thumbs up if you can see me and say hello in the chat. We're live on Friday, December 6th, 2024. So if you're seeing me on Saturday or Sunday, I am no longer live. Please don't send any payments, otherwise you'll be refunded. Sometimes people get excited and they just start sending stuff. So if you guys are watching me, say hello. Make sure you click the bell button below. Subscribe to the channel. We're here every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday using tarot and astrology to try to make sense of what is going on in the cosmos. How's your guys' weekend going so far? Pretty good if you're hanging out with me. We're going to be doing live readings on the channel. This week is going to be tarot. If you want to get a tarot reading, you can scan the QR code right up here. It'll take you to my PayPal. We're doing 1-card readings for $20, 3-card readings for $40 donation. Please put all of your info in the memo box and any info that I need to know pertaining to your question. It's the beginning of the month. This is the first live for the month that we're doing. So I got to give a big shout out to all of my memberships. If you're a level 2 or a level 3, thank you guys so much for supporting me as a full-time content creator. Those of you guys who are new here, I like to create content that's long form, educational, and all about astrology. We kind of use tarot, astrology, what I see intuitively, working with the Sabian symbols. These people who join my memberships make it possible for me to put out these videos weekly and create content. So a big thank you to people like Flowing Through the Pines, Vanessa, Marie, Coco, Reiki Drea, Paula, Shay, Jessica Martinez, Salty Mama Soul Tribe, Let Your Light Shine, Renee, Smoky Brown Eyes, Lisa, Dorothy, Claire, Cece, Laverne, Darlene, Christine, Erica, Grow Up Together, Victoria, Thunder Spooks, Deanna, Enchanted Crossroads, Sharon Grant, Emma, Taliba, and Susan Wexler. Thank you guys so much for your support. I feel like we've been back, I think I've been on YouTube now for going on 3 years that I've been back full time. So it was kind of like the pandemic, and I was like, well, let's see what's going on with the YouTubes. So now we are approaching almost 40,000 subscribers. We're about 1,500 away. So help me reach 40K. Click the bell button below. Share this video out with other people. Let them know that we're slinging cards on the internet. What's up, Paula? What's up, Deanna? I am happy to help you guys. And as always, part of the memberships, if you are level 3, you're going to get a reading with me once a month. So it's a great way to support me. You can check in with me. You can choose if you want a tarot or an astrology reading monthly. You get one on one of my many lives that I do on Fridays. So I have Deanna, I have Paula. Are there any other level 3 people that would like to cash in? What's up, Dorothy? Did you have a question? Let me know. Otherwise, there's lots of other times that we're going to be here. Next week, we're going to do astrology. We're going to have a full moon in Gemini, which is wackadoodle. It is going to be particularly colorful, so it'll be a good time to get clarity. And the Mercury retrograde will be ending next week too, so that's going to be really helpful for clarity. Before we get into the readings, let me know if there's any other level 3 people that would like to get in, but I have Frankie and Kimberly who are also in the queue, who are waiting to get a reading. And just want to give you guys a heads up, we still have lots of goodies for Christmas. So if you need a last minute Christmas gift, you want to get like an astrology mug, we have tarot bags, we have individual calendars that tells you your transits for the entire year ahead that goes right into your digital calendar on your phone, on your computer. We also have beautiful 2025 lunar prints, the new ones right behind me. There's like 3 or 4 different styles that we created this year. And we have a 2025 Astro Goddess calendar, and it's really cool because the new format, not only does it have all of the ritual recommendations like the herbs and the oils and the intentions and rituals for the month, but we also give you a 3-card tarot reading each month. There's a QR code, you scan it, and you get a little private video from me that tells you what to be mindful for the month ahead. I thought, you know what, 2025 needs more tarot. So I thought that that would be like a cool way to be able to kind of bring that into the astrology mix. So I hope you guys like it. Check out all that stuff at beyondtheveiltarot.com. Equally, I will be here ringing into the new year as always. And we're going to be here on January 1st. We're going to do a several-hour presentation on all of the biggest points of 2025. Come join me and ring in the new year. Hang out with me live in the chat, and we're going to talk all things astrology next year. As many of you guys know, there's lots of changes happening in the skies. Outer planets are all changing signs. We're kicking the year off with a Mars retrograde. The nodes are moving into new signs. It's moving into Virgo and Pisces. Finally, I feel like we have some new astrology to talk about. So it's a completely different vibe shift next year, okay? All right, so I do place me in the queue. All right, Dorothy, I got you. Okay, no worries. If you put in extra info, that's okay. All right, so I have Deanna, Paula, and then Dorothy. If you're new here, also say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'll take Deanna's question, and then Paula, let me know if you just want a general reading. I can give you a general reading if you'd like. Deanna says, I'm cashing in because my daily work schedule and life is busy. Work is driving me crazy. My 9 to 5 help. All right, well, let's take a look. Let's see what the tarot has to say. I can just only imagine being a Leo rising right now. Being a Leo rising right now. With Mars turning retrograde, it's going to have some of y'all kind of feeling like you just want to hide under the covers. Get ready, guys, because that energy is kicking up now. And also being a Capricorn, Mercury retrograde behind your sun. All right, let's see what the cards have to say for Deanna. Can we give her any advice or anything like that in regards to this crazy schedule that she's got? All right, so in this order, we've got the Three of Swords, the, sorry, I'm gonna bring these down. Three of Swords, 10 of Wands, the Page of Wands, all right? Okay, so a couple things here. First of all, you know, when the Three of Swords comes up, it's kind of feeling like, okay, this is killing me. And it can be emotionally or mentally really exhausting, but this is also about like disappointment or a feeling of something not really going according to plan, or kind of feeling like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. When this card comes up, it's really talking about needing to get to the heart of the matter and needing to heal something. And maybe it's about coming to terms with something, communicating something, expressing something. But I feel like in terms of connection with work and your schedule and your career, I'm just kind of like, oh my gosh, there's so many things happening on the screen right now. Sorry, I don't know what all that stuff is. That there is a sense of being like, I gotta release something. I have to let something go. So Three of Swords tells me that it's time for you to address some of the issues. And this could be like too much work stress that's, you know, being put on you, you know, overflowing your schedule, and like that creating a lot of like mental tension. Conversations and communications you need to have with people about what does and does not work for you or does not feel good. She said, my blood pressure can't be controlled by meds right now and I'm stressed out. So there you go. Like literally, it's about getting to the heart of the matter. So the good news is that this is in the first position. So we're moving away from this. This is what you've become aware of. Obviously, I'm a tarot reader and astrologer. I'm not a doctor. But I can tell you that in my experience, when we start having physical manifestations of things, it's like the universe's way of trying to ground us. Emotions, pain, right? Weight sometimes even like accidents will happen to get our attention. So you know, as a Leo rising with Mars, which could be about heat or it could be also about pressure going retrograde in your sign, it's trying to get you to get your attention through paying attention to your body. So if you deal with the heart of the matter, you're going to be able to kind of heal and work through some of this stuff. It's quite literal for you, right? The opposition that's happening also to Pluto is that stress that's coming from your relationship with other people. 10 of Wands is the current position. So it's saying like, all right, kind of feels like an uphill battle right now. It does indicate an end of a cycle. This might be about just recognizing like, hey, you know what? I'm taking too much on. Usually when we see the 10 of Wands come up, this is a card that I see when somebody's right at the edge of getting ready to finish something or getting ready to wrap something up or let something go or even like moving. So I kind of feel like the 10 of Wands is saying like, you right now seem pretty determined to be like, I can take everything, you know, and do everything and like take it all on. But I would say like, don't push yourself. Because there is a risk with the 10 of Wands of getting to the finish line and then being like, okay, you know what, I've kind of dropped the ball. I personally feel like this is also going to be finding new ways to manage stress. And it sounds weird, but like it may also be through like physical activity. Now it shouldn't be too overly strenuous because obviously the 10 of Wands is like, you're carrying too much weight, you're going up a hill, you know, that's too steep. If you're carrying too many things on your shoulders, like there's a risk. So what we want to do is we want to like lighten the load and we want to make it easier for you to be able to have like a stress release. So I feel like this could be about you going like, okay, I physically need to do something that's going to get my mind off of the matter. It might be as simple as, you know, going for a brisk walk or maybe, you know, getting outside and being in nature. Maybe it's going to be about doing something like meditative while you're working out. That's about releasing everything, letting go of the pressure. She said, I'm going back to walking. There you go. Started running, pulled a chest muscle last week. Not funny, but not surprised because it doesn't want you to push too hard. Okay. So you need to take it slow. Mars retrograde in your ascendant sign means we're not running, right? We're pacing ourselves. And unfortunately for a Leo rising, you know, Mars going retrograde back into your 12th house is going to be about rest and recuperation and like how that benefits you emotionally, right? So we got to kind of take it slow. The final card is the Page of Wands, which tells me that you're going to be creative with coming up with a solution to this problem. And when I say creative, I mean like maybe you're taking a step back and being like, you know what, like I can find new solutions to, you know, kind of get my work done. Maybe it's incentivizing you to be focusing on ways that you can kind of create stuff that doesn't require you to have to be working, you know, as much in your day job or your 9 to 5. This is also creating space for inspiration, creativity to kind of pop in and kind of feeling like you can initiate new projects as long as you're giving yourself the time to kind of rest, recuperate, and bring that energy in. So I also kind of feel like with the Page of Wands, it's like saying to you, you know, if you're given this time, you're going to feel inspired. You're going to be able to play a little bit more. I know that there was some discussion revolving around you traveling. I still think you're going to do that. I don't think that's going to hinder you from traveling. I think if anything, being out of your usual zone, right? Because Mars rules your 4th house of home is actually going to bring you some sense of peace. So my advice is, you know, maybe with the 3 of Swords, it's about journaling. Maybe it's about writing down, you know, the things that are kind of stressing you out or making you worry. And I want you to cross out the worry list and you want to make it your prayer list, you know, something that you are kind of asking for assistance. Hey, you know, give me some support. Don't make me carry all of this on my own. You know, send me a lifeline here. And I think that both with a little bit more mental rest and relaxation and doing something physically that's going to get your mind off of stuff, you're going to be feeling a lot better. You know, Page of Wands is a card that's about vitality and feeling like you can get things moving again. But still, with that 10 of Wands, it's also about expressing and kind of telling other people, like, I can't carry all this on my own. And maybe letting people know, hey, I'm dealing with, you know, some medical stuff right now, some health stuff. Like, I need assistance. I can't have all of this on my plate right now. But I do think that you'll be up and kind of moving around and getting things done. And you're going to be kind of finding some creative solutions to some of your problems with that Page of Wands coming up. So sending you lots of love and healing vibes. I've been hearing this from a lot of my Leo risings, man. I mean, unfortunately, that seems to be the theme. So hang in there, feel better. Remedies for the Mars stuff is anything that's going to be cooling. Okay. So like cooler clothing, cooler colors, cooler weather, you know, finding cooling herbs, anything like that can help. We want to work with a water element that's going to kind of ease up all of the kind of heat that's coming from Mars. Okay. Good luck. Sending lots of healing vibes. We've got Paula, and then after Paula, we'll take Dorothy. Paula, did you let me know? You want a general reading? You are very welcome. Have lots of fun on your trip. Oh, so she's sending an email about being on hiatus. Love it. Perfect. Letting people know that you're going to be MIA. All right, so this is going to be for Paula. Paula, this is for you. All right, in this order. So we've got the Fool, sorry about that, the Fool, the Judgment card, and the Four of Wands. Ooh, two majors coming up. I kind of feel like this, to me, seems like there's major decisions that are being made revolving around the holiday and the turn of the year. The Fool for me is always like about New Year's. It's about the fresh start, new beginning, you know, taking chances, new opportunities, being optimistic about going in a new direction. And it's funny that this comes up with the Judgment card because it's kind of like you have this card that's very idealistic and then you have a card that's very serious. So I see this as you kind of being like, all right, you know, I have to make some big decisions about what I'm doing in this next year. I have to get serious about what direction I'm going in with my goals, with my travels, with my plans. And the Fool card is also about, you know, kind of embracing going in a different direction, like doing something that you wouldn't typically do. And the Judgment card is saying, like, for once and for all, you know, making a decision. If there are things that you have been wanting to do in your life, if there are chances you've been wanting to take, trips you've been wanting to take, things that you've been putting off, it almost seems like you're feeling like it's now or never, that you have to kind of get this stuff done in the immediate next year or so. Judgment card is also about reviewing something. So if you've been kind of sitting on it being like, it's not the right time, or I'm not ready yet, or, you know, it's so irresponsible to book that trip or to go somewhere, now you're kind of like, no, now is the time. Like, I should not be putting this off any longer. Like, I have to live in the moment and really be present and like kind of do things that might seem a little bit more spur of the moment. But you're making the decision to kind of prioritize maybe spontaneity and like living life right now. The Four of Wands is a card that comes up that talks about meetings, celebrations, temporary spaces. You know, this is a card that I see where I'm like, look, there's going to be weddings and parties and birthdays and get-togethers and festivals and gatherings, and something worth celebrating. So it almost seems like come the turn of the new year, you're celebrating something very significant, or people are coming together, or maybe you're making a decision that you're like, no, I am going to go and visit with this family, or I am going to have people come and stay with me. And people coming together and being able to celebrate something that's very positive. Obviously, the Fool card and the Four of Wands, it's yellow. So this is about bracing life. This is about vitality. This is also about creativity. This can be a time where you're making the decision that it's time to go after some of your creative pursuits. Specifically because the wands deal with not just creativity, but self-employment or projects or anything that you're wanting to create. And it looks like maybe you're working with like a period of about 4 months or so that you're kind of putting this stuff together. Maybe you have intentions to start something new at the beginning of the year, to kind of try to roll something out in the spring going into the summertime. And it may also be about encouraging other people to come and participate or to be around and celebrate something with you, or that you're going to have something that's going to be worth celebrating. And your goal is kind of getting to that particular time of the year. Watch for announcements of some kind. It can also be that there's invitations of some kind or something that's being put out there where family's asking you to come and visit, or somebody's going on a trip and you would be usually like, no, you know, it's irresponsible to spend that money or to go somewhere to do this. And you're going to be like, no, I'm going to do it. You know, I want to go and do this at this particular time because you feel like it's going to be important to be around people and celebrate whatever this occasion is. It's about going and enjoying yourself and choosing maybe a path this year that is going to feel a little bit more spontaneous. And also, you know, maybe doing things that you would not typically do, okay? So now is the time. You're going to be really present with us between now and the beginning of the year when it comes to making decisions, making announcements, and sticking to it. Hope that's helpful for you, Paula. Some really exciting news might be coming. That's the other thing, because obviously you see like the trumpet, right? Gabriel's got the trumpet making some kind of announcement. All right, let me catch up on my comments here. I love the background visuals when you're reshuffling the cards. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. That's I can't take credit for that. That's Oz in the background who's doing all that. What's up, Victoria? How's it going? Would you like your reading for the month? You want to cash in or you want to wait for Astro? Let me know. We've got a couple other people in the queue, so let me see who else we have. Let me update this. You guys always see me kind of like fight with PayPal on the live. Sometimes it behaves and sometimes it doesn't. All right, so we got a couple other people who popped in. Looks like we got David, Matthew, and Katie. So you guys are all in the queue. I will call your name. When you hear your name, that means your reading's coming up. What can I tell you, Victoria? She's writing your question. All right, I'll take Dorothy in the meantime. Let's see. Let's see. I'm moving. Any messages about the move I'll be making in the next week? Gotcha. Let's take a look. You're a brave soul, moving during the Mercury retrograde. An interesting one to be moving, especially because Mercury's about movement, right? That opposition to Jupiter, which is literally about moving, relocating. And isn't all of that squaring your moon? Look at you. Okay, now he's showing off with all the edits. Half of these I've never seen before. It's kind of cool. Okay, I feel like it's right moving in the next month. Hey, you know what? You got to do it. All right, so what can we tell Dorothy about moving? All right, so it was in this order. I love how you have the move cards. Can I just tell you that? I really like doing readings during Mercury retrogrades. I feel like the readings are like so much more clear. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But hi, we've got 2 of the movement cards coming up. We have got the Chariot, the 6 of Wands, and the Page of Wands. The chaos of Gemini rising. You guys are definitely more flexible when it comes to move than other ones. But what great cards for a move, especially because you feel like it's going to have a pretty significant shift. There's that Page of Wands again. Is that going to be the card of the evening? Obviously, one of my move cards is the Chariot, right? Getting into your Chariot, kind of hitting up those sphinxes and getting on your way. The Chariot card is about getting to where you need to go, you know, intuitively or instinctively feeling like now is the time or that you're heading in the right direction. Obviously, there's a lot of having to get your ducks in a row with this card, but what I like about the Chariot card coming up is that you have been feeling like this is a long time coming, or maybe you've been planning for some time, or you've been kind of strategizing when to move, where to move, you know, how to kind of put it together. And for you, it might actually be a better time of year. You know, obviously some of the squares you're experiencing to your moon and Saturn and other planets in Pisces might mean actually because there is, you know, kind of scaling back from work, or maybe you're getting a little bit more of a break or some freedom. A move is actually going to be perfect time for you. So it looks like intuitively, you know, you got everything in a row, you know what you're doing. Just know that when the Chariot comes up, it's also about going on to bigger and better things. So moving into a better space, moving into a space that's going to feel emotionally good. Also, you know, maybe it's about going somewhere that's like a new, not necessarily like a faraway place, but a place that you're exploring or you're still getting to know in some fashion. Then we have the 6 of Wands. That's my other move card. Obviously, anything with horses is movement. But the 6 of Wands is talking about like a positive move or a homecoming, or feeling like you're either moving to a place that feels familiar, it feels very welcoming, there's lots of opportunity, there's opportunity for connection with people, and that overall things go smoothly. So if somebody says, oh, am I going to get the job? Or, you know, is the trip going to go well? Or, you know, am I going to be well received? The 6 of Wands is always saying, yes, it's going to go smoothly. You're really going to enjoy where you end up going. It's also going to be something that I feel like there can be more opportunities to socialize and connect with people. And this is also a card that can be like a celebration card. So it can be saying you move and then you get into this space and then you're like, wow, I feel like I can entertain, or I can have people over, or, you know, if neighbors are friendly. Like there is just much more of a sense of feeling at home and in the right place when this card comes up. So that's a pretty much a guarantee that things are going to go smoothly. So that's great considering the astrology right now. I think that the Page of Wands is also really cool because it says that there may be something about either moving and being in a new environment or a new space that gives you more life. Maybe it makes you feel like you've got the space to be more creative. You know, pages, obviously, they need to kind of be entertained. They're kind of like children or like youthful energies. You might feeling like you're moving into a place where you're like, you know, completely blank slate. I can buy new furniture. I can paint walls. I can bring in, you know, new decor. Like it's going to be about having fun with the process of making it your own and making it possibly something that's just like, you know, merry, bright, you know, kind of appealing, something that's going to be very creative and yeah, bright would be the word that I would use. So being a Gemini rising, you know, obviously, you know, your fourth house is Virgo. So something about that makes me feel like, okay, this will be a process over the next couple of years for you as you start seeing eclipses coming through your fourth house. Maybe it's about kind of letting go of how things have always been at home, or how you've always lived, or how your space has always looked, or how you have always felt about your home or your living situation. Now something is changing and you're feeling like, okay, you know what, I can have my own space, and also I want my space to be a reflection of who I am. So have fun with it, be creative, and I do think that this is going to be a good move, and I feel like intuitively, you know that once you move, there's going to be some other changes that are going to be coming for you. And I feel like it's more social than anything, but who knows, with the Page of Wands, you might be like, oh, I have an office, or I have a nook where, you know, I can do my creative work, or I can entertain more. Something like that is going to be kind of coming up for you in this new space. Okay. Love it. We've got Victoria. She says, please pull cards for my new decision therapy Houston business. It's a word of mouth biz. Strong last month. I had more clients than ever. I want a side hustle to grow. How advice? My website is done. You're welcome, Dorothy. Well, her nails look way better than mine. Way to make me look bad. Oh, she's enchanting the cards. Look at that. All right, so let's take a look. Let's see what we can tell Victoria about this new hustle. What does she need to know? Sounds like she's got some stuff ready. And new decision therapy center. The owner copyright is owned by a lady who is just the creator. All right, let's take a look. You guys tell I have hand envy with Sun in opposition to Jupiter. All right, so we've got Two of Swords, Two of Wands, King of Pentacles. Hey, hey. I'm kind of wondering, like, what's the indecisiveness? What's the kind of like back and forth going on? Is it because you're kind of wondering, like, can I take another thing on? Is there some, you know, kind of feeling of being cautious to like be telling, you know, too many people about the business? Two of Swords comes up where it's like, okay, you know, do I do this or do I do that? And like waiting for the right moment. And that's in the current position of like the past. So it can mean that you're like, I'm getting everything ready and then I'm getting ready to launch everything when it's the right time. Assistance to creator where my legal something to consider. I'm really wanting to be thoughtful about this. Yeah, okay. I mean, I feel like this is more, in my opinion, like you're going to go forward with this. You might be going back and forth trying to determine whether or not, you know, it's the right time, or if you can take this on, or if this is going to be like the right move, because it might be different than what you've usually done. But Two of Swords for me in the previous position is just kind of like overthinking something, right? Or there being too much to kind of process like right now. Looking for the right moment to create a training program. You know, what I will say is something about this kind of starting with that Two of Wands is saying it's opening the door, making it possible for you to have more connections, meeting more people, having more clients, being able to get more referrals, being able to collaborate more with others. Like, this is making it possible. And with the Two of Wands, it's about assessing the situation. He's holding the globe in his hand. So he's got the world in his hand, you know, and he's kind of like, okay, what do I want to do with this? And it really means that there's going to be a world of opportunities for you. I think you're going to start really seeing this kind of within the next 2 months or so, like, you know, especially as we're getting into like February, you know, March of 2025. This also says that this has room to grow and develop into other areas. So you're not going to be kind of pigeonholed into one particular type of business or type of service or anything like that. Like, you have the opportunity to really kind of make it your own. She says there's only 5 NDT practitioners in the world, and they not be welcoming to me, kind of gatekeepers. Well, I mean, look, here's the deal. Starting your own thing or getting into this, you know, or getting your foot in the door, I mean, like, it might be a way to be able to kind of make it possible for you to kind of connect with other people or bring in other people and kind of create your own community. King of Pentacles is a really, really, really good card to be pulling for a future business endeavor. This tells me that it could either mean that you end up getting involved in it and kind of mastering it and like being in a situation where, you know, you're monopolizing on, you know, having the skill or the ability to do something, and like, you know, being in a field that's already really kind of, I guess I would say like prestigious, or there's very few people doing it because it's like a very niche thing. And that can bring you resources, it can bring you abundance, it can bring you clients, it can bring you money. But I really see it as you being like, okay, I want to not just help people and heal people, but I want to turn it into like a thriving like business. It could mean that there is some connection that you have to another significant person. It could be a man. So look for like a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. But I think that this is more you. I think it's talking about the direction that you're going in. And being a Virgo rising, like, my God, you know, Pluto in your 6th house is great to do anything therapy related. North node eclipses and Saturn and Neptune going into your 8th house is great for healing. Anything that's relating to therapy, psychological stuff, getting to the emotions and being able to make money in that type of field also is really great. She said, I would love permission with this biz, the original creator, and I wanted it before she died. I mean, here's the deal. You know, likely you're going to have to go through another person, but like, I don't see it being something where you're going to be kind of gatekept. I feel like you'll be able to kind of get situated and affiliated with someone. And like, could it cost you? Would you have to do training? Do you have to kind of pay dues or membership? There may be some exchange, right? Because it is the King of Pentacles, so it is business. But it could end up bringing you a lot of business in the long term. And it could end up being something where you may monopolize, because not only are you in a field that is, you know, like I said, very niche, but you're bringing that to an area where it may be an untapped market. And so that in itself is like you going like, oh, there's lots of potential to potentially do this here. And like people who don't really know what it is. And like, you know, I might be able to kind of start something that could actually be very, very, very successful. King of Coins is what we want to see when we're pulling anything in regards to business related things. Don't doubt it. I would just say the only concern here is overthinking it, not reaching out and connecting with the right people, not trying to get your foot in the door and making it possible to, you know, potentially start kind of getting involved in this type of program. Okay, reach out to people. We're going to see some really great transits, by the way, when Mercury goes direct. So Mercury will be going direct, obviously. I think it's going to be Sunday of next week. But when Mercury goes direct, it's still in a trine with Mars, right? And it's in a trine with the North Node. So you're kind of looking at second half of December, maybe even getting into January can be a good time for connection and communication, taking action, right? Especially when your chart ruler wakes up. Hope that's helpful for you. She says, let's see, you look in the mirror and use the mirror for forgiveness to release trauma, memories from the body to release. Wow. You know, that is going to be so incredibly helpful. I think of Saturn and Neptune going into Aries, and like people are having to like take a long, hard look literally at themselves and like reflect on where they are self-sabotaging or where they are stuck or where they are, you know, hurting themselves or afraid of like embracing like their inner, I guess, like inner warrior, like their inner capability. I don't know. Like we need more stuff like that the next 2 years, because this is going to be about individuals looking at themselves and reflecting and figuring out why they are lost. So hi, yeah, I think that's wonderful. Such a great thing. Well, keep me updated. All right, we got Frankie, Kimberly, David, and if you're just tapping in, you want to get a reading, scan the QR code up here. You guys can get in the queue. Let me know in the memo box what your question is, por favor. Frankie says, hi Candace, I want to know what my friend Jesse's feelings are towards me. He was trying to invite himself over to my house 2 weeks ago and drove all the way to my town to hang out with me. We were talking on the phone while he was driving. It was unexpected. I feel bad because I kind of turned him down by telling him that we will hang out soon some other day and to drive back home. I was kind of nervous and wasn't ready to hang out just yet. He's a family friend who I grew up with. He's younger than I am. He's 28 and I'm 32. He's a Leo sun and I'm a Libra rising. Thank you. As a Libra rising, I think of like, you know, Mars being your relationship planet, and it's like getting ready to go retrograde in your 11th house. So it could be bringing back somebody who was like an old childhood friend, right? 11th house. And the opposition to Pluto, where it can be like this intense like fear revolving around, you know, connection, vulnerability, you know, like romance, and you're like, ugh. And that's kind of like hanging around, especially with Venus coming in conjunction to Pluto right now. So there's something almost like as a Libra rising, maybe that you're needing to heal before you're feeling like ready to put yourself out there. Or maybe you were getting like vibes that like there is like an interest and you're like, oh my God, you know, how am I going to handle that? Let's take a look. Well, I mean, honestly, oh, there's that Two of Swords again. So we got the Ten of Cups, Two of Swords, Page of Cups. Kind of funny because I kind of feel like, you know, he may have taken it upon himself to drive into town to see you, like whatever. But he seemed to have gotten an impression that, you know, you were either receptive to seeing him or there was something going on, or he thought maybe you were like, you know, sending signals that you're like, yeah, I'm free to do something, or like, I want to see you. Like he's kind of like reading into the situation. So I don't know if it's a situation where you're being like friendly and like warm towards him and he got excited and he was like, you know, yes, because the Ten of Cups is, let's be together. Let's hang out. Let's celebrate. Like the vibes are good. And like, it can be a lot all at one time. But it's a really positive card. I mean, obviously there's two cups coming up here. So that seems to kind of indicate that there's definitely some feelings involved. I mean, you say he's a family friend, right? So like Ten of Cups, you see like, you know, a family, everybody's together, they're kind of hanging out, they're celebrating, everybody's in a good mood. Could have been a feeling that he feels as if, you know, there's that openness with you, that if he says, hey, I'm going to stop by, like, you know, you guys may have that type of relationship with your families where, you know, like it's just it's a common thing. But obviously, you know, in the current position, we have the Two of Swords, which is just kind of like, I don't really know. Or maybe somebody got a little too excited to see me. Or, you know, I said I was, you know, hanging out, not doing anything. And then he shows up and he's coming your way. And you're like, actually, no, I'm not ready. Like, I don't want to see anybody. Like, and you could have overthought a little bit. You could have definitely kind of got in your head a little bit with that Two of Swords. There is also like this feeling that's like, very conflicting, right? Because these planets are very, these cards are very much like all in. Like maybe you got overwhelmed because he was like too interested. I know that sounds weird, but it's almost like, you know, the Ten of Cups and the Page of Cups is like a golden retriever, you know, it's like something that's just running towards you that just wants to be like, be affectionate and kind of lovey-dovey. And you could be kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want that, you know, or that's too much attention, or I'm not used to somebody who's like available or interested in me, or somebody who's willing to just give me attention and kind of show up at the drop of a hat. I think that the Page of Cups is a very clear indication that there is like a little bit of like a crush there. There's a romantic attraction. That's not typically a card that I see where somebody just wants to hang out and be friends. You know, the Page of Cups is romantic. They're sensitive. They wear their heart on their sleeve. There is a sense of them kind of trying to, in a romantic way, offer some kind of gesture that is showing their feelings and their emotions. So she's saying he was flirting back and forth. Yeah, I think he probably kind of read into the situation a little too much and was just kind of like, oh, she's into it. Okay, I'm going to come right now. You know, and there is an interest there. But I feel like for you, that Two of Swords being in between these two cards where, you know, okay, you shot him down, but like, I don't really think that's going to stop him from trying again or trying to hang out. I think you're going to see him kind of come back around again. Over the next week or so, you're going to see Mars and Venus oppose each other, and you're also going to see, you know, that Mars is retrograding in opposition to Pluto. And it can mean for a Libra rising chart that there is some concern or fear about a friendship becoming something that's a little bit more intimate and whether or not that's a good idea, right? She says he was just like, we can just hang out, nothing else has to happen. Yeah, he got a little too excited, and I think that was like a little bit of like a turn off where you were like, oh, this is kind of weird. He's gonna try again. I feel like with the Page of Cups, you're definitely gonna see him, you know, want to try to kind of connect with you. He's gonna find another reason to try to see you. And I feel like, you know, if you're not ready with that Two of Swords, where you're like, I don't know where this is gonna go, or now isn't the time, or I've got stuff to do, that's fine. You're going to play cat and mouse for at least the next week with some of the oppositions that you're going to be having. But I do think also that there is a sense of needing to be aware that, you know, like he's very interested. So if you're unsure or you're not interested, or, you know, just don't lead him on, because I feel like that Page of Cups can definitely be somebody who's going to keep, you know, kind of trying to make offers or trying to connect with you and like these romantic gestures, you know, and can kind of get his heart broken a little bit. So until you know you want to see him and you want to hang out with him, or you know, whether or not there's potential there for you to be open to a romantic connection, you know, just take it easy. Don't lead him on, because I think he's gonna be a little attached, to be honest with you. Hopefully that's helpful. What a sweetheart. He's so sweet. I was shocked that he went out of his way like that. For some reason, I feel like the Ten of Cups, like I said, I just like picture like this, like, you know, this like golden retriever that's just like coming along, you know, I'm coming for you. And you're like, no, not right now. I'm busy. He'll keep trying. Don't worry. All right. We've got Kimberly, and then we have David. What's up, Kimberly? Kimberly says, anything exciting coming up in the love department? Let's take a look. Thank you guys for hitting those like buttons. Hit the like button, hit the subscription button. All right, so what can we tell Kimberly about what's coming up in the love department? She's a Sag rising. Ooh, how is your life right now? That retrograde in your first house. It's like, do I want somebody? Do I not? What's going on? All right, so in this order, we've got the Hierophant, the Knight of Cups, and the Seven of Coins. Well, first of all, I'd keep my eyes out for a Taurus. Okay, so a Taurus, maybe like a Taurus mixed with some water. So they could have like a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces kind of placement. What's interesting is the Hierophant is a card that is generally about serious or committed relationships. Like you'll see some tarot readers say, well, this is connected to marriage. This is connected to long-term commitment, like knowing what you want and like focusing on stability and something that is secure. But the Hierophant can also be about getting some kind of advice. Okay, so it can be about getting advice. And sometimes the Hierophant comes in the form of getting a reading, talking to, you know, an older person who's a friend or a family member. It can be a therapist, somebody who's giving you some kind of direction. Or it can be about engaging with people who are going to be asking you questions about relationships, being like, so are you single? Are you trying to meet somebody? What are you doing? And it's not that people are judging you. It's that you're getting asked this question, or this is going to be coming up more often because it's the universe's way of trying to get that energy into your life by saying like, what do you want? It's trying to get you to think about that. And as a Mercury retrograde in your sign right now, like that's really important. Mercury rules relationships. So for it to be retrograde in your first house, it's up to you to decide if you're open for business, if you want a relationship, if you want to meet somebody, if you're receptive, and also becoming aware of maybe where some changes in the way that you think about relationships or communicate with people or approach people can actually open the door and make it possible for you to connect with something legitimate. So when I see the Hierophant coming up with the Knight of Cups, you know, that makes me feel like you could meet a Taurus. It could also be kind of insinuating that it could be like around Taurus season. So that's going to be like around, obviously, April, May 2025. It can also be talking about the fact that, you know, there is some like emotional maturing that's kind of going on right now. And you're thinking about what you want in relationships, and you're more open and kind of like receptive, and you're coming around to the idea of that. The Knight of Cups is sometimes a message of love. It can be about meeting someone. It can be about going on a date, connecting with somebody, somebody reaching out to you. You know, there may be interest, but you might be kind of like, I'm not really sure. You know, I'm just starting to kind of figure out if I want to get back on the horse, or if I'm going to be active with dating, or if I'm going to try to meet someone. And somebody may be reaching out to you or approaching you when you least expect it. So if you look at the Knight of Cups, obviously he comes with the chalice in his hand. So he's offering some kind of opportunity, go to dinner, grab a drink, you know, are you free? Can I get your phone number type of stuff. And he's offering it to the Seven of Coins, who does not see that he's coming. So that's what I'm telling you. It might be a situation where you least expect it. Somebody approaches you and you're working, you're paying your, you know, your dinner bill, maybe you're checking out somewhere, and somebody's giving you a compliment. Somebody's trying to talk to you. They're trying to interact with you. Pay attention, because it looks like this is coming. Seven of Coins is a funny card, because this is like you going, well, you know, do I want this? Do I have time for this? You know, am I interested? Is this potentially, you know, somebody that's worth investing in? There can be a sense of cautiousness with the Seven of Coins, because you're like, I don't want to invest my time in something that's not necessarily going to pay off. And I would say, okay, slow your roll. Remember what I said about the Mercury retrograde. Sometimes when retrogrades happen, you know, karmic things take place. And I think with Mercury ruling your relationships and it's retrograding your first, all it takes is that shift of your frame of mind for somebody to come in. So you might meet somebody that's different than what you would usually date. You might meet somebody who also reconnects, and you're like, do I really want to give this person another chance? You know, is it worth my time? Don't be too critical right now. Keep an open mind. I think that, you know, the horoscope for Sag risings is really good for relationships. You just have to get out of December where Jupiter and Saturn are squaring. And for a lot of you guys, you're either bogged down with family stuff, or there's something going on where you're having to take care of a relative, or, you know, you end up feeling like, you know, you don't want to leave your house. Like, you literally have to get out and about and get out of your house in order to go and meet people. You have to be willing to get out of the past and your emotional patterns to connect with others. But once you get out of this square, which is kind of finalizing this month, you know, relationship stuff can actually pick up. And I would say that it is worth giving somebody, you know, the benefit of the doubt and taking them up on the offer. Because even though, you know, you may not feel like it's the best time or the best circumstance or situation, or maybe you go out and you're like, oh my God, somebody's approaching me or hitting on me, like, you know, and I'm in my sweats, like it's going to be a situation where you least expect it. So pay attention to people trying to kind of start conversations with you, paying you a compliment, you know, offering you something. That's their way of opening the door. And this period of time between now and the new year could really actually get you back into considering and thinking about relationships. And I think the Hierophant is just saying, like, know what you want. You know, get clear about what you want. And when you start focusing on that and you're speaking it into reality, you're writing it, you're thinking about it, you're literally going to attract somebody right to you. Right? Especially with your 7th house, you know, being lit up with Jupiter. You're supposed to be maybe meeting more than one person throughout this transit. Hope that's helpful for you. What's up, Sonia? How's it going? Hey, CZ. I can definitely give you your reading. Let me add you to my list. So I'll take CZ, and then we've got David, and we've got Matthew after that. All right, so my dear, anything exciting coming? Love, job, anything like that? We've got another Sag rising. Oh, this is hilarious. I definitely feel like the card dealer. That would be fun. Maybe we should do a live where I read playing cards. I know how to read them, like for tarot, so we should do that sometime. All right, so this is for CZ. Anything coming for them in regards to love or job stuff? Oh my goodness. These are some wild cards you got here. Hello.
Well, I can interpret this two different ways. I can interpret this in a sense of you being like, okay, I'm trying to break out of old patterns. You know, I'm trying to break out of old patterns when it comes to, you know, feeling blocked or there being conflict when it comes to relationship or work. These transits are giving more kind of like limitations revolving around, you know, your career and your own personal kind of freedom vibes. You know, I'll keep rapping on Sag rising, but I feel like Sag risings right now are Sag and Virgo risings are the ones that are really kind of going through it with all the retrograde square stuff. Five of Wands feels like, you know, this is a challenging period where you're kind of feeling like you're fighting an uphill battle, or like right when you're kind of clearing up one thing, there's another thing coming. So you may feel like there's been some stuff going on where you have been feeling blocked from being able to make progress, you know, with relationships or work, which makes sense, right? You've got your, you know, relationship ruler retrograde. You've also got your 10th house ruler retrograde. So for a lot of Sag risings, there's a lot of reevaluating right now. What do I want with my career? Or what is my purpose? What's going on with relationships? And the squares to Saturn are really kind of saying to you, the biggest challenge is going to be about, you know, overcoming emotional issues, emotional limitations. Where are you feeling kind of held back? Where are you kind of stuck in the past? And like this retrograde is giving you the opportunity to completely, you know, rework everything in regards to how you see yourself, what your relationships could be like, what your career could be like. And also this Mars retrograde that's kind of coming up. Very much the Emperor, it's tied to Mars, is going to be dipping into your 8th house, which means a lot of change is going to be coming for you guys emotionally and psychologically and on the home fronts in Cancer. Also, I think that this could be about, you know, kind of like feeling more so empowered, empowering yourself to say, like, I can change my mind. I can change direction. I'm in control. The catch is that even though the Emperor is able to kind of overcome some of the chaotic kind of situation with the 5 of Wands where you feel like everything's kind of hitting you at once, the Devil card is coming up, and that's associated with Saturn, okay? So Saturn is in a mutable sign. It's in Pisces. You know, depending on what degree your rising sign is, you know, Saturn is squaring that. And that can mean that, you know, you're feeling limited with where you can travel, what you can do, you know, what you can kind of get done. Anyway, I'd be careful with the Devil card coming up in the last position, because it is reminding you that if you keep repeating some of the same patterns, and more specifically, these are more work related, if you keep repeating some of the same patterns, you're never going to break free out of that. What I love is that Mercury rules your 10th house. It's about being in charge. And so you're going to have to kind of like tell yourself, I am capable of overcoming this. I am in control. I can make changes. It is possible for me to kind of evolve and break out of these old patterns. Thankfully, Sagittarius has a superior angle on Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. And I think the biggest challenge is going to be about emotionally overcoming situations in the past. What's happened in past relationships, what's happened in your family, what's happened in past work situations, and like getting out of some of those blockages and feeling like, you know what, I can overcome this and I can, you know, kind of finally put myself back in the driver's seat. A lot of Sag risings are having to make some big decisions about either their family, their home, or their living situation right now. And I would say be present with that, because if you can take care of that now, you're going to have so much more freedom in the spring when you're having eclipses in your 5th house, and you can have more fun and you can have more romance, and you can also focus more on maybe even like self-expression or even, you know, side hustles, new businesses. But you have to deal with what's going on emotionally or on the home front before you can kind of get to that point, you know? So I hope that that's helpful for you. Sonia says, my mom was a blackjack dealer for many years. I will take all of your guys's tips and in those. What are they? What are they? Because they're not coins. What are they? What are they called? I'm trying to think of what those are called. Are they coins? I don't know. I don't know what they're called, but I just know I see blackjack dealers and poker dealers. They get their tips with their little coins. All right, so we've got David and Matthew chips. There we go. Should have known that. Duh. Chips. I want the black ones. I'll take potato chips too. I'll work for potato chips. I'm not proud. All right, we're going to be reading for David and then Matthew. And if you guys want to get a reading, scan the QR code right next to this Christmas tree. and I will give you a reading. All right, so let's see what David has to say. David says, what's up, Candace? Wondering if I could have a general 3-card reading for whatever I need to know. Thanks, Dave. Dorothy says, barbecue for me. I like crunchy stuff. I'm a snacker for sure. All right, so what can we tell Dave? He would like a general 3-card reading, and I swear to God, if we pull the Page of Wands or the Two of Swords again, I swear. All right, let's see. What can we tell Dave? Let's give him a general 3-card reading. What does he need to know? All right, so we have got, in this order, the 5 of Coins, the 4 of Wands, and the Star card. All right, well, what can I say about this? Things are on the upward swing. That's definitely the vibe that I'm getting from the 5 of Pentacles to the Star card. Not a great card to be pulling in the first position. I'm kind of getting the vibe that there is this sense of feeling like left out of something, you know, left out in the cold, detached, not getting what you need in a situation. To me, it doesn't necessarily mean so much financially. It means more like in terms of inclusion, socializing, togetherness, friends, and you're moving away from a period of feeling like you either have to be alone or you're spending time alone, or you know, you don't have a lot of like support in terms of friends and community, or that there's been a period of kind of feeling like the Lone Ranger. 5 of Pentacles is a card where obviously you see 2 people who are sick, obviously kind of down on their luck. They're outside of a church in a snowstorm, and there is this sense of kind of being like, where am I going to get some help from? Like, what gives, right? And obviously it's speaking specifically to the season also that we're in. So kind of feeling like left out in the cold. When this card comes up in the past position, it means that we're moving away from that. That has been the situation at hand. We're moving away from that. So if you've been feeling a little lost or disconnected, the good news is that the 4 of Wands is coming up in the current position. So for me, this is like saying, okay, there's about to be a bunch of social opportunities or events, whether this is holiday parties, invitations, gatherings, social places, live music. It could be that there's festivals, there's fairs. This is about active stuff, and it's temporary. So it's kind of saying like there's going to be a lot of things coming up over the next 4 weeks that gives you the opportunity to go and kind of mix and mingle and meet with like-minded friends. 4 of Wands for me is like, you know, you go to the bar, you see the live music, you go to the fair or the festival, you see something that's kind of happening locally, and you're like, I want to go and be where the people are, right? And I would participate in that. I think that this can actually be really good for you. You can meet like-minded people. It can also be good for like meeting others that you kind of are interested in romantically, because obviously you see that there's a couple, they're kind of dancing, they've got garlands in their hair, you know, they're kind of like in the moment. So this can also provide you with opportunity for meeting romantic people and flings as well. The Star card, okay? So we go from kind of being kind of in a position of feeling left out, seeing an opportunity to connect with other people, to kind of feel like you can have some joy and also be around like-minded others. And then the Star card is about your community. It's about healing. It's about feeling like you have found your place. Maybe you're gonna end up going and doing something where there's gonna be like a singles mixer, or if there's like, you know, some kind of like art event or something that's gonna be more kind of like, yeah, social. Like look for people who are gonna have similar interests basically. And I kind of feel like the Star card coming up for you is saying that there's gonna be something healing and very therapeutic about being among like-minded individuals, that you may feel like you have found other people who obviously are also like maybe feeling kind of lonely for the holidays, or maybe, you know, they're trying to find their tribe. The Star card is also an indication of wish fulfillment. So if you're wanting to feel like, hey, I'm, you know, meeting a friend and they introduced me to other people and now I'm getting invitations to stuff, right? This could be part of like the intention that you're setting, is that you're wanting to meet good people who are going to be kind of bringing you into their community. You mentioned to meet the Empress a couple weeks ago in the Page of Cups. Well, it looks to me like this is about really kind of kicking some of your social opportunities into overdrive, you know, hopefully making it possible for you to meet someone. I would keep my eyes out, especially for like Aquarius placements. So, you know, the Star card is associated with Aquarius. It could be Aquarius suns. If you meet people who know their rising or their moon, that can be helpful as well. And I do feel like the Star card is kind of saying that, you know, whatever it is that you're wishing for, that you're hoping, you know, that can kind of come about, like is going to come about. And I also kind of feel like the Four of Wands with the Star card might mean other people who have similar interests as you. So I look at this and I'm like, you know, think of a hobby that you have, think of an interest that you have. It could be something like you have a favorite sports team and you're like, yes, I want to go and meet other people who are, you know, watching these games, and you go to watch a game somewhere and then other people, you're chatting with them and then they start inviting you. Or if you have like a, you know, an interest to kind of get into dancing or something like that, you go somewhere where there's going to be regular dance events. Watch for that, because there's going to be some kind of community that I think is going to kind of be bringing you in and hopefully making you feel like you're a part of the tribe. Great cards to be pulling during the holiday season. So keep us updated. Thanks for popping in, Dave. We've got Matthew here. What's up, Matthew? And then we've got Katie and Lori. Hopefully my jokes work with my new friends. Love it. All right, Matthew, what's going on? Let's see what Matthew has to say. There we go. Hey Candace, I got a great reading from you on my work crush a few weeks ago. Things are going good. I've been getting my flirt on and I actually work with him again later tonight. However, I'm supposed to go on a trip to New York City with my cousin, who's also my supervisor at work, and I'm not sure about it. I messaged my software engineer guy about hanging out when I go, and I've gone on dates with him in the past and would like to see him again, but he didn't answer. Should I still go on this trip? I'm already pretty busy and I don't want to have to put my work crush on the back burner when I feel like it's going so well. Thanks, Stacy. I will add you to my list. My question is all over the place, but mainly seeking guidance on how to prioritize these overlapping situations. Taurus, Sun, Cancer rising. All right, let's see. So basically, do we go on the work trip and, you know, potentially see if there can be some connection with this person who you've had a connection with in the past, or do you prioritize the work crush, which things seem to be kind of moving along with? So what is it looking like? Is it looking like it's worth going, or should he stick to prioritizing the work crush? You can, if you want, you can go into details if you want, okay? But the Devil card coming up first kind of makes me feel like, have you fallen into a pattern with the other person where it doesn't really go anywhere? Because that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting here. So it looks like, okay, I messaged the software engineer about hanging out when I go. So, you know, I mean, has it been a situation where you feel like you hang out and you're limited, or it doesn't evolve into anything, or it's purely physical? You know, do you guys go and get drinks, hook up, and then there's nothing more? The Devil card can be like that sense of temptation, like getting drawn into something that seems like it can be easy, or, you know, you can be indulgent, but ultimately it leaves you kind of feeling stuck, or it leaves you feeling kind of empty or wanting more. I feel like the Devil card coming up with the Two of Coins is basically saying, like, you know, you're weighing your options. You at least know that in the past how things have played out, and that things have either stalled or you were kind of left feeling unfulfilled. What I will say that is positive here, okay, is A, if you don't go on this trip, you're definitely going to save some money. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that. But the Two of Coins coming up is being like, I feel like there's better things I could spend my money on. You know, I could go and do this, but I'm going to go and I'm not really going to see anything other than maybe going to New York City. Okay, that's great, but you're not really going to make any headway. And the Two of Coins, I think, is also about the back and forth, where you're like, do I take a chance or do I go back to what I know I've always done? Same old devil, that's literally the Devil card in the past position. So you know what's going to happen. Nothing is going to change in that situation. You're still going to have a back and forth. Maybe you have fun for a little bit, but I don't really see it going anywhere. What I love, though, is this progression of the Devil card, the Two of Coins, and the Temperance, which is telling me, like, you're maturing. You're learning not to take the temptation. You're learning not to just go after something because it's there or it's quick or there's some kind of quick connection. You're going like, no, I'm healing, you know, I don't need that immediate gratification, or I'm not going towards something that's going to be unfulfilling. The Temperance is saying that just because you're already kind of saying like, I don't think that's what I want to do, or like, this isn't a good investment of my time or my energy, or this is sending mixed energy or mixed, I guess, emotions or decisions or signals, I guess mixed signals to the universe that's like, I don't know what I want. Make a decision and stick to it. I would not invest my time or my energy going to New York City. Unless you really want to go there, I don't think anything's going to come of it. I think your time, your energy, and also your focus is actually better spent on being like, no, this is a healthier direction to go in. This is actually possibly going to bring me joy. And also recognizing that you're kind of healing something about your relationships and not just kind of giving into something that might be like, comfortable or kind of tempting. The Temperance card is talking about timing, and that timing is everything. Also, being Mars retrograde, coming back into Cancer, it's going to be about tapering off this need to kind of rush into something, or feeling like you have to run towards someone, or, very quickly kind of go after your romantic connections. This is about pumping the brakes, slowing the roll, and letting the right people kind of come to you, right? Especially because you'll see Mars trine Saturn. So you'll have several opportunities to travel throughout this transit over the next couple of months. And if this were me, I would definitely focus more on the person who you've been pursuing, because Temperance is saying that's going to be a healthier kind of decision and more likely to balance things out and allow things to kind of flow in the right relationship, right? Time and money would be wasted. There you go. Hopefully that was helpful. Sorry, you're not going to get to go to New York. But there's always next time. Go in the spring anyway. That's a better time to go. It's so cold right now. You want to go there now? Crazy. All right. So we have got Katie and then Stacy. And this is a 1-card love reading for Katie. She says, my question is about a specific person, which I feel very confused about, wondering where I stand with this one. I'm a Scorpio rising and they're a Leo rising. Oh my God. Woof. All right, let's take a look. So what can we tell Katie about this Leo rising? And Mars is going retrograde in their sign, right? It's opposing Pluto in their 7th. So there's like this sense of a back and forth, a standoff with someone. To be a Scorpio rising right now with Pisces, Saturn Pisces in your 5th, the card that you get is the 10 of Wands. I kind of look at this as this can feel like this is a lot to take on. It's kind of like if you decide to go in this direction with this person, one way or another, it's going to be work regardless, And 10 of Wands is a card that's like right when you're kind of getting to the end and we want to give up, or we just want to kind of let it all go. We just want to let the chips fall where they may. Like that's the vibe that I get looking from this card. The confirmation card is the Tower card. If it's already falling apart, right? Or if you're already feeling like things are kind of breaking down, something that can happen with the Mars retrograde is like you guys can actually literally like let things go. I'm not saying give up, but let things go. Let the ties, loose, cut ties, snip cords, all that stuff. Cord cutting is really good right now. And see what happens, right? Because if it's going to fail, because, the Tower card's coming up. If it's going to fall apart, just let it fall apart. See what happens. It's really hard for Scorpio risings right now. You guys got, Pluto in your 4th. There's lots of changing circumstances emotionally happening with home and family. You got Venus that's coming into conjunction with Pluto, and it's in opposition to Mars. So there's this sense of like almost having to be the bigger person and being like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I can't stronghold, the situation. I've got bigger fish to fry. I would let this go. And if it's meant to come back, it will, but it's going to have to be like a better or a stronger foundation, because 10 of Wands wouldn't happen unless, you were carrying way too much in the relationship or you were doing too much. The Tower would be coming up unless this was something that was already built on something that was unstable. And Leo risings are going to do this back and forth for the next several months. I mean, you're going to see the opposition in the new year, literally the first couple days of January, and then you're going to see the opposition again that's going to be happening at the end of April. Woof. I feel like all Leo risings right now, there is like almost like a need with Mars retrograde for them to have time alone to pause and reflect and figure out what they want, what direction they're going in, right? What they want when it comes to their emotions, when it comes to their home, when it comes to their relationships. If you give them that time and you let it kind of fall apart, then you're going to see, number one, how much you've been carrying in the situation. And number two, that if he really wants it, he'll come back and he'll have to kind of build it, and he's going to have to be a team player. Really hard for Leo risings right now, particularly men, because Mars retrograde in their first house is more about what's going on with their drive and their, I think like could be their masculinity. It could be their, their sexual energies. It could be about what they're most passionate about. And they have to kind of reassess before they decide to go after, their relationships. And Pluto in the 7th is about people being like, I'm done. I'm changing, and now that I'm changing, now it's changing the relationship that I have with you. Change the dynamic and see what happens and see if he comes correct, right? That's a lot to carry. I hope that is giving you some clarity. We've got Stacy. Let's see what Stacy says. What's up, Stacy? Let me pull this up here. I have not updated this. That's probably why. Stacy says, let me get a tarot reading. General, what do I need to know? What's coming towards me? Taurus rising. And you got a Cap Sun and a Libra Moon. Wow, you got Pluto coming in for a conjunction with your Venus, and it's squaring your ascendant. That's a very big transit if you're a Taurus rising. Okay? Big career stuff, big stuff in regards to how you're putting yourself out there. Lots of stuff changing. So let's take a look. What can we tell Stacy about what she needs to know? All right, so in this order, good cards, good cards. I like it. Nice, some sixes here. So here's like the vibe that I'm getting. Yeah, I'd be apprehensive. I'd be apprehensive too. Pluto hitting your chart ruler, that's a big deal. Whatever happens with that transit, it's going to be very public, right? Like if you got Venus at the top part of your chart, I mean, it's about people seeing you at work. It's about you, your appearance, your relationship to people professionally, how you communicate and connect with them at a 3. So the next year is going to be really significant, especially as Pluto is squaring your ascendant and your descendant. And it's opposing Mars right now. So it's about kind of like the dramatic changes going on in your career and your reputation versus some of the changes happening at home. Regardless of the astrology, the cards are very positive. So they're essentially saying that if you can reconnect and tune in and think back to how things were when you were younger, and I think this is the Mars retrograde in your 4th, or reflecting on where you've come from, or reflecting on your values, your family, your emotions, your home, you will see your way through this time. And it's funny because that's what the astrology says too. It's saying the same thing. 6 of Wands is the card of victory. This is about being able to move forward with some of your endeavors. And I think that this can be more career related. It can be travel related. It can also be just your relationship with other people going well and you being well received. Which is not always something that we see when Pluto is conjunct Venus on the midheaven. Sometimes we have a difficult time with relationships with partners publicly, or our professional kind of relationships can get a little rocky. But I feel like this is about you getting really clear about what it is that you want. And the 6 of Cups is about reflecting on your childhood and like reconnecting to people from the past and like kind of looking at, how things were in the past and like how you can connect to younger versions of yourself. Almost like in a way, when Pluto goes through your 10th house, your career changes in some way, or your status changes in some way. When it hits Venus, it's like you going like, oh, it becomes so passionate about someone or something that it becomes very, very public. So I'm kind of thinking that for you, it might mean that, you're realizing, oh, what I always wanted to be when I grew up. or what I always wanted in a relationship, or, you know, how I always saw my life going. And that there is this dramatic change happening right now where there could be some things going on that feel heavy, that it's like, wait a second, this is not how I saw my life going. Unfortunately, that's how a Pluto transit starts, is like something ends, there is a death, there is an ending of a job, there is a relationship breakup, something happens, and it's like the world comes crashing down. And then Pluto retrogrades, which you'll see kind of next year. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, it was clearing and making all of this space for something new to come in. Yeah, I've had that transit. I'm Venus ruled too. So I had Pluto conjunct my Venus, and it was all of the things. It was the home change. It was the breakup. It was, this is not how I saw my life going. And all of that shit that I had to go through the Pluto transit made me realize that was all being cleared out because I had a different path. So I think for you, it's about embracing that. And the way to navigate a Pluto transit is being like, okay, I see the ending, celebrate the ending. Like, have your farewell ritual, bury the shit, like let it all go and ritualize it and say farewell. And if you can celebrate the ending, the new beginnings are going to come a lot more quickly. And I think that this is also about, you know, the high priestess, tuning into like, not just being like, yeah, okay, I hear you, but like knowing it, trusting that if you wait and see, and if you allow the dust to kind of settle, that it's being, you know, it's a situation where you're being presented with what you truly know you came here to do. And maybe the high priestess is also about, you know, kind of getting in touch with your intuition. Maybe this is about your vision. You know, sometimes people don't realize, like, when they have this vision for themselves, it's not unusual that I see like the Tower card come up or the Death card come up or something like that. And they're like, why is this happening? I'm like, well, you know, you're literally telling the universe, I need to have a healthy relationship. I need to have some commitment and, you know, some sense of loyalty and something healthy. I need to have a good paying job. I need to have a healthier, you know, kind of mind and body. And I'm like, so of course you're going to lose your job, or you're going to break up with your spouse, or you're going to go through a bout of like health issues because you're asking the universe for this thing, and you have to go through all of this stuff to clear it out. So anyway, my point is that the high priestess is basically saying to you right now, it's when you're in the thick of it, you have to be reminding yourself, like, this is a part of the plan. I knew that this was coming. Maybe it makes it easier, you know, maybe knowing that you're going through a Pluto transit makes that whole process easier so you can accept it. And also this is about learning lessons and like learning to trust your vision, or learning to trust your intuition through this process. I'm just reading your messages now. Long-term relationship breakup a couple years ago, home change, work feels like it's about to change, just nothing is settled. Nothing is going to be settled yet. Things are going to get more so colorful. You got to deal with the Mars retrograde first. So you're dealing with what changes are going on in the home front. Think of the 4th house retrograde as like you're going and getting your foundation settled. Why? Because you need to get that settled so that way you can be focusing on building your work and your career stuff. That's what's happening. So you're going to do that first. Then you're going to go and move on to the next phase. And that's going to be more so the turn of the year, where I think, you know, the Pluto transits and Aquarius transits are going to be about what's going on with your work. Which is going to be a really, really kind of important kind of turning point in this next year. You may have more than one opportunity is something else that I would say. Pluto, you know, hitting Venus at a 3 means there could be, you know, multiple jobs, or you're doing this and then it's opening the door to a second position or something like that. Coming into your power basically is what you're going to see with that transit. So go and learn about it. Trust your intuition in the process and be more focused on kind of getting in touch with what you know you're supposed to be doing. Hope that helps. Good luck. Let's see, who else do we have other than Stacy? We've got Lori, Camille, Michelle. Let me add you guys here. Lori. We'll leave the queue open for a few more minutes. Leave it open for like 5 more minutes if you guys want to get in. What's up, Rosie? Thank you. Michelle, don't worry, you're coming up. You are about 2 or 3 people away. You'll hear me call your name and then you'll get a reading. Michelle, just send me in the chat what your question is, because I don't see it in the memo box. So if you want to send me your specific question, I'll take it. All right, so let's talk to Lori. What's going on, Lori? All right, so Lori says, I'm applying for a new position with my company. I want to know what the cards say about my chances with getting this job. Sag, Leo, Leo. All right, let's take a look. What are the chances of getting this new job? Well, there's a lot of planets that are in your favor right now. Mars in your sign. You got a retrograde in Sag. It's all trine in the North Node. All right, so what can we tell Lori? Is she going to get this new position that she's hoping for? All right, in this order. Looking pretty good, my friend. What's interesting is, I mean, obviously it ends with the 9 of coins, right? So that in itself is kind of like, ooh, having opportunity, having, you know, the potential to make a higher income, make more money, get a raise, have more freedom. That's a really good sign that likely you're not only going to be considered, but you may have more than one opportunity to kind of expand in your field. You know, usually opportunities just are given when you see the 9 of coins. It's like, well, you've applied for this, but also, you know, have you considered that? Like there may be more than one position, or there may be lots of opportunity that is kind of coming your way. So yes. Two of Wands, Queen of Cups. I feel like what's interesting is that this is about you being more open-minded, or maybe considering positions, or considering departments, or even like places that you may not have considered before. You know, I think of like the 2 of Wands as like opening the door and being like, where do I want to go? And allowing yourself to maybe take a little bit more of a risk, or taking chances. And maybe you wouldn't have applied for a position like this because it would require you to move, or it would require you to, you know, learn another skill, or work with like a different department or a new group. But now you're saying, yes, I'm open to doing this. I want to do this. And just the willingness to kind of put yourself out there and explore is really good, because emotionally, I think that, you know, the Queen of Cups is saying that, you know, it's the time, or that, you know, you're open and you're ready for a change. I'm wondering what's going to change other than another position and potentially being in another department. Is there travel or relocation involved? Does it mean that you're going to have to go to like a new office? Is there anything like that going on? Because that 2 of Wands tells me that it's more than just a change in your status. There is going to be a change altogether. She says a different office. Okay. So, you know, the Queen of Cups is telling me that intuitively you may have like a really good feeling, or a really good intuitive hit that this is your time to strike, right? I think about, you know, just Sagittarius in general right now. You know, having the Mercury retrograde is a lot of rethinking where you can go with work. And then obviously like the Mars retrograde that's kind of taking place is definitely about changing direction. So yes, I say not only apply to it, but there may be other things that they recommend you for. They ask you if you'd be interested in, or you're going to see other potential postings. The 9 of coins makes me feel like this is about like really showing up and knowing your worth. You know, she is not one to negotiate a salary or take less pay, or, you know, less benefits or anything like that. There's a lot of like, what do you have to offer me, or what can you offer me if I decide to, you know, take this position? You may ask that question. You may go and sit with them, and they might talk to you and do the interview, or discuss whether or not, you know, you're kind of up for this position. And then you could be like, well, you know, what do you guys have to offer me? Because she's in a position of being waiting and ready to receive something that can definitely enrich and benefit your life. Watch for help or support that can come with other women. So the Queen of Cups could be a Pisces, a Scorpio, or a Cancer. Somebody who comes through that's like, hey, you know, I want to help you. Let me connect you with somebody. I feel like you'd be a good fit here. Let me make the connection. Let me kind of get you in there. Somebody who is going to be looking out for you, and also you may really kind of vibe with. You might feel like you have a good rapport, like there's like a good working relationship with them that makes you feel wanted, or makes you feel like it's like warm or welcoming. Okay. Looks good. I definitely think that there is a change on the horizon for you with these cards. So you'll have to circle back and let me know what the position is, and if there's another one, or if there's something that's going to require you to like train or travel, because I have a feeling with that 2 of Wands, you're going to go other places than where you're used to kind of going. Okay. Let me know. All right. So we have got Camille, Michelle, and it looks like Rosie got on there. So I got you, Rosie. Don't worry. All right. So this is going to be for Camille. And, oh, well, thank you. Do you have another question, or is that just was that you just sending your original cards? Probably. I probably just didn't see it. Okay, never mind. We did Camille's reading already. So we have got Michelle. There we go. So we've got Michelle. And Michelle sent her question. She says, I'm looking for guidance for work and finances. Love my job, but I feel a bit stuck right now. And I might want to start branching out into something more creative. All right, cool. So you're Scorpio rising, which means Mars is going retrograde in your career house here soon. So you're reworking and rethinking everything in regards to your career. So that's good. And you also have a Taurus moon. So that's kind of connected to obviously your 7th house of like clients, relationships, other people. And then Virgo sun going through some changes with Jupiter as well, considering new jobs. A lot of Virgo suns are considering that, and they will see some career progress, especially as you're getting into the spring of next year. All right, so now that I have the visual of your chart in my mind, let's read the cards. Let's see what the cards say. So what can we tell Michelle about what might be coming with her work? All right, in this order, we got 7 of Cups, Judgment, and Temperance that are coming up. Interesting cards. I kind of feel like, you know, it's like a moment of clarity for you the next couple of months. You know, 7 of Cups coming up is the first card. Not surprised. There's a little bit of like, well, I want to do this, but I want to do that. But like, how do I ground it out and make it real? Which makes sense for a lot of Scorpio risings. A lot of Scorpio placements are feeling that right now. It can almost feel like there's too many options or too many choices. You know, the 7 of Cups is like, you know, I have these ideas, but like, how can I ground that out? Can I do that? Is it possible? You know, do I see a future working on these things? And right now there's too many things that are retrograde. And I think about like Mercury retrograde and Sagittarius, and for a Scorpio rising chart, it's like, I need to make more money. I need to make money in a different way. I need to do something that's more fulfilling. And you can be super critical of whether or not some of your creative endeavors will work. And I would say just cut yourself a little bit of slack right now. Don't make any big decisions right now. Next spring, especially as like we're getting into the April, May, June time, is going to be very different. You're going to see like eclipses in your 5th house. And your 11th house access, which is about what you create and how you share with others. And then you're also going to see retrogrades happening in your 6th house of routine back into your 5th house. So in layman's terms, spring of 2025 is the time where I think you're going to see that you're segueing more into your own kind of creative work. And it may be as a result of changes with your schedule or changes that are going on with your existing job or, you know, your office space, the people you're working with. Like, watch for that stuff. Right now is more a time to feel like you need to find something that's inspiring. I think this is also a time where it's more about playing and creating and expressing yourself, being less consumed or attached with the idea of having to make money. Right now it's more about inspiration, right? It's not about making money. When you get the Judgment card, it basically says you will get to a point at some point next year where you're going to be like, okay, I really love this. And if I really love this, you know, do I have the capabilities of really making the jump? Like, can I make the change? And you will have like an epiphany, or you'll be like, you know what, if this is what I love to do, this is all I want to do, and I'm not going to want to go back. And it may be a slow process, but I would assume, you know, once Saturn is fully leaving your 5th house, which will be closer to 2026, you could make that jump. It is very possible for you to do that. Temperance tells me that it's also going to be about you managing your schedule or your time differently, or that you're going to be reassessing or kind of making changes to, well, how much time am I dedicating to certain things? And I might have a job that I'm doing that's a 9 to 5, but, you know, am I scaling back? Am I taking a day off? Am I allocating, you know, time on my nights and weekends to start kind of focusing on something that I love and creating more balance and creating more harmony in my life? Temperance is also a card that's about healing. So when you say that you want to do something that's more creative, you know, that's Saturn in the North Node that's kind of going to be going through your 5th house, but also something that can be healing. I think of like 5th house Pisces as like music, art, film, you know, spiritual, you know, hobbies, things revolving around giving back and helping the collective. So, temperance can be saying, well, you start getting involved in it now because you feel like it's relaxing or you enjoy doing it or it's healing or therapeutic for you. And then it may materialize to where you're like, I'm doing this so much that this could be a business. This could be a side hobby. I could be making paintings and selling them, or I could be, opening a Reiki business or something that you're going to enjoy doing. And it's going to feel like it just is a state of flow. And you will start leaning more into maybe trying to make it part of like your regular routine, I think next year. Focus more on inspiration and creativity right now. You don't have to come up with a plan. You're not going to come up with a plan with Mercury square Saturn and Mars retrograde. That plan is going to be seated more so next March, April, May. So get into make the decision, make the conscious decision now with judgment that you're making more time for the things that you love. And then as you get into the spring, then you're going to be like, okay, I've been with it consistently. And now that I know that I can stick with it and I've invested time and energy and resources into it, now I'm going to take it to the next step. And I would say that to anybody, because spring of next year, you're not really going to feel like things are kind of up and running until the later part of April. Obviously, I'm not saying coast, but give yourself the time, especially with Mars retrograde into the 9th. I feel like for many Scorpio risings, traveling, training, learning about anything creative, learning about marketing, right? Like it's very much like 9th house, finding a teacher, finding a mentor or program, going and doing like a certification course of some kind can be something that you can do during that retrograde before you decide to kind of make a change in direction with your career next year. So hopefully that's helpful for you, Michelle. Thank you for your question. What's up, Wendy? All right, make sure I'm not missing anybody. All right, cool. If you guys want to get in the queue, sign up before we call last call. Wendy says, I want to know about love. All right, let's tell Wendy all about love. What can we tell her? All right. Well, it looks like this is going to be the card of the evening. Six of Wands. We've seen that one a lot. Six of Wands and Two of Swords. We've got some people that are like, heck yeah, and some people that are like, I don't know. I don't want to make a decision yet. I'm good. How are you doing with all that Mercury retrograde stuff and all your Gemini planets? I really feel like the Six of Wands and the Two of Cups is about people being warm and receptive and like either reconnecting with you and making offers to, work together, see each other again, spend time together again. Like that's a great card when it comes to relationships. I mean, that basically means anything that you pursue or go after right now, people are going to be warm and receptive to that. The Two of Cups is funny because, you're asking about love, and we know that this is a card that deals with relationships, and this is also about people who are offering you something. Do you want to go to dinner? Do you want to get lunch? Are you available? Are you single? Are you free? Like, pay attention to people asking you questions or are offering you something. Pay attention if somebody, is giving you a gift or if they're being a little bit friendlier than usual, because this can be opening the door to a new connection or potential relationship. Obviously, having this retrograde that is connected to Sagittarius is going to be about, are people coming back? And if they are, what do they want? And it's more about the ball being in your court, right? Three of Wands is kind of like, okay, you know what? Things are moving. People are coming around. Maybe you seem like it's kind of strange that you're kind of connecting with more people than usual, or all of a sudden people are coming out of the woodwork, or they're friendlier than usual. But it's about people coming in and you deciding, because Three of Wands is about being like, okay, I'm gonna pick something, I'm gonna go with it. Not everybody is necessarily gonna get a seat at the table though, okay? So that's the thing that I would say about the Three of Wands, is that even though this is a card that's about moving forward and pursuing something and like being in the moment and like it feels really exciting and kind of spontaneous and that there can be a lot of chemistry involved, same thing with the Six of Wands. His back is turned. So it means you can't take everything with you. There is a process of making a decision and one door opening and another one closing. And it's like, in order to take this new opportunity or to move forward with somebody, you're having to close some doors. Several interested men, but they are my son's age. You say that like it's a bad thing. You have to understand that whenever you're dealing with, Mercury or like Gemini related things, you're going to have younger people come in. Multiples, Gemini, right? We see more than one person. We see them come in pairs. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. It's a youthful energy. It's people who are bright and bushy-eyed and super eager and really excited, and they want to communicate and all that fun stuff. I look at this and I'm like, you know what? People are interested, and I don't really get the fling vibe. If a Knight of Wands came up, or if a Devil card came up, or, something like that, I'd be like, okay, this is trouble, or this is going to be a fling. But some of these things are, these cards are making me feel like people are going to be persistent with Six of Wands and Two of Cups. They're going to be like, let's go to dinner, let's go out, let's go places. Like, can I come along? Like, you're going to see a lot of that. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. That Three of Wands is kind of being like, let's see where it goes. There's no expectations, right? There's zero expectations with Three of Wands. It's just like, let's just see how it goes. And it's like, do you want to go along for the ride? That's really the question. It's going to be an adventure. And like Mercury's retrograde, everything is square Saturn and Neptune. Nothing is clear right now. And I kind of feel like if you've got Gemini, in your chart, you got a lot of Gemini connected to your 12th house, your ascendant, balls in your court. You can decide who and what you want to participate in. It's the squares to Saturn, my friend, that are making you go, well, could I see this being a long-term thing? And what are other people going to think? And like, how is it going to look? Who cares? That doesn't really matter. The confirmation card you get is the Chariot card, which means like something's going to happen. You're going to end up going and hanging out with one of them. It could mean that there is an opportunity for like a trip, getting out of town, traveling, going away for a day and a night, doing like a little staycation, like do those things, right? Do those things. That's fun. If you've got a retrograde going into your 12th house, which you do, I think with Jupiter, you can keep it behind the scenes and hidden, babe. Nobody needs to know what you're doing. That's the perfect time to have relationship stuff kind of in private, be feeling it out. And like, you're going to be more critical right now because Jupiter's squaring Saturn. But if you're caring too much about what other people think or who's going to see it or what have you, you can keep it behind the scenes with Jupiter in your 12th. I would like to see you go and interact with people outside of your typical environment. So it's one thing to go to dinner, you go to a movie, you're dating, whatever, but I would say like go somewhere, go and spend a day and a night somewhere, go to another side of town, go and do like a day trip, do something like that where you feel a little bit more comfortable and like you can be out of your element and you can kind of get to know somebody. And I think it could be really fun. If I saw this like ending up in flames, I would tell you. But if anything, I feel like at least it's going to keep things interesting. And you've got some persistence. So I don't think people are necessarily going to go away. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. Rosie came back for seconds. What's up, Rosie? She says, second question just hit me. Where does Spirit want me to stop wasting time? Is there a worry or a project or a subject or a person I should drop? Thank you. Well, that's a good question. Welcome to my reading room. Doesn't it look super whimsical? Looks kind of like Hogwarty. Looks like there should be a lot of cats everywhere. Sorry, we have some cat people in the chat. I apologize. I'm definitely not a cat person. I'm a dog person. Let's take a look. So what can we tell Rosie? Is there any messages that are coming through for things that she needs to stop doing or stuff that she, needs to kind of let go? Is there a person, project, or something that she needs to drop? And it looks like Robin got in there too. I got you, Robin. You're next. All right, so what can we tell Rosie about what she's got to let go of, what she's got to drop? In this order, I love that Temperance coming up with the Four of Wands. We've seen that combo too. What's really interesting is I kind of feel like worries and concerns about comparing yourself to other people. And this could be other people's progress. This could be other people financially. This could be where other people are in terms of their career. Like, I love that the Temperance card comes in the middle, and it's basically like saying like all in due time. Like, you're on your own track. You're on your own kind of like experience, your own adventure. Like trying to compare yourself with the Page of Pentacles to other people and other people's accomplishments or other people's, career accomplishments or their financial kind of standings. Like, that's not something you need to worry about. Focus on what you're building and what you're doing. These are all positive cards, by the way. So if anything, it's basically saying like, it's about focusing on moderation. And on one hand, we've got the Page of Pentacles, which could be worrying about finances, trying to focus too much on, you know, your skills or your work, or things revolving around, you know, financial building or even your health. And also like thinking about things in a small sense. Like sometimes when the Page of Pentacles come up, I always tell people, like, if you're thinking too small, you're not thinking big, or if you're not prioritizing some of the small changes that you can make and realizing that they lead to big changes, you know, then you're going to kind of like lose the ability to make progress financially or in your career. So not thinking too small. And then two, then we, on the other side of the coin, we have the Four of Wands, which is about harmony, celebration, socializing. Like, it's almost like I look at this and it's like kind of saying that there is a need to have more balance here, right? It's great to be focused and have goals and, you know, be trying to kind of grow your resources and feeling like you can be productive. But also this is about like, you know, all work and no play can make you kind of dull. So if anything, be mindful of like the investment that you're making with your time. You know, is it well spent? I don't think you're wasting time on anything. I kind of feel like this is just saying creating more of a balance where you're having balance between socializing, connecting with other people, you know, being able to have more togetherness with other people. And also maybe it's who you're investing your time and your energy with. You know, what kind of people? Do you feel like, you know, you're focusing too much on, you know, trying to be a part of something, and like those may not be people that you resonate with. So Temperance kind of coming up in the middle is saying it's trying to help you kind of balance that stuff out. And it could also be, you know, trying to help you realize that, you know, you're supposed to be working hard to be having experiences with other people. That, you know, money is it's a currency, but it's also an energy. It's supposed to kind of come and go. If you're holding on to it, or if you're afraid you're not going to make enough of it, it's going to limit you from being able to kind of have further forward progress. And equally, if there's too much of it going out, you know, too much spending, too much kind of focusing on the wrong people, places, and things, and it's going to be hard to hold on to. So it wants you to balance these two things out right now. I don't think there's anything you have to let go of, and I don't think there's anything that you're doing wrong. I just think that it's about kind of doing everything more so in moderation. And I would say you're going to find that the most fulfillment is going to come surrounding yourself by people who are a reflection of the life that you're trying to create. Surrounding yourself with, you know, positive people, go-getters, people who are healthy, people who also prioritize their friendships and their relationships. Like, that seems to be kind of what's kind of coming through right now. Okay? Hopefully that's helpful for you. We've got Robin. What's up, Robin? I see you sending your question. Looking for guidance in love. There's the cats. We found them. I'm 43, been married once. A couple short relationships. Post-divorce, 2018. Currently entering something very slowly with a Cancer. Man, he's 10 years younger. I'm always optimistic and Neptunian, but man, I'm feeling this one. What do the cards say? All right, let's take a look. She's a Libra rising. And you got a Leo sun, so that's connected to your 11th, and a Sag moon. So you got Mercury retrograde over your moon, so you're kind of like rethinking your emotions and your feels. And you've also got Venus and Mars in opposition to each other right now. Thankfully, having Venus go through your fifth house is good for romance, especially with a younger person. And Mars turning retrograde over your sun is like, what do I want in regards to dating and other people? So, I mean, it makes perfect sense. All right, well, let's take a look. Let's see. What can we tell her about this younger man? What do we need to know in this order? We've got the Eight of Swords, the Tower, and the King of Swords. Okay, so cards aside, just in layman's terms, right? Like, as Pluto and Venus are coming together in your fifth house, there's a sense of having a real, it can feel like a crisis revolving around what you love, your self-love. You know, there could be insecurity issues that are coming up. Am I good enough? Is this going to work? Like, you can be feeling very protective. And as a Leo, you know, Mars retrograde in your sign is also reevaluating, you know, what do you want? How do you feel emotionally? And the 11th house is somebody that you're dating and whether or not they're dating other people. Okay, so there could be a lot of back and forth over this period over the next couple of months. That's like, what do I want? Who am I with? And like, what direction are they going in? Are we on the same page? And you're going to do this back and forth for a couple months. I'm not saying you can't have commitment or any of that stuff, but there's definitely going to be a lot of feeling your way through other people and their romantic kind of gestures towards you. And you might notice that things are kind of changing a little bit. Anyway, obviously there's some gnarly cards that are coming up. I'm going to start at the end and then I'm going to go to the beginning, and I'm going to say that everything comes down to how they communicate with you. Okay. As a Libra rising, you got to know you got another eclipse in your 7th house next year in the spring. You have a Venus retrograde in the spring. You're going to have Saturn go into your 7th house. You're going to have Neptune go into your 7th house. It's really an important time to have clarity in relationships. And like, you got to see things for what they are. It has nothing to do with his age. You got to see things for what they are. It doesn't matter if they're 10 years younger than you or 20 years older than you. Libra risings are going to see a lot of immaturity in the relationships. It's already kind of starting for some of you guys. Aries is youthful. And so really next year, there's going to be this like reckoning if you're in a relationship, if it's not the right relationship, if it's not cutting it, if they're acting immature, if they're being selfish, trust me, you will see it. So when I see the King of Swords in the end position, this is both a combination of you going, okay, you know, we need good, clear, mature communication. We need to be on the same page in terms of what we're both thinking. Doesn't mean you guys have to be looking for the same thing. Doesn't mean you guys necessarily both want commitment. It doesn't mean that it has to be a forever thing. But communicating your thoughts and your feelings in the matter and being like, okay, you know, here's where my head's at. What are you thinking? You know, how are you feeling? What are you looking for? It's very matter of fact, very direct, right? The air element is masculine. And so it does not mince words, especially the King of Swords. So I'd be paying attention to how is he communicating? How is he presenting himself? What is he saying? Is he following through? That kind of stuff. Equally, swords are about drawing a line in the sand, creating a boundary, you know, defending yourself, being direct, and being able to direct energy appropriately. There we go. So everything's going to come down to your guys' communication and whether or not he's walking the walk and talking the talk. In the past and in the right now, you know, the past is like, you know, maybe feeling like you were stuck in previous relationships. You couldn't speak your truth. You didn't know how to get your way out of it. You know, maybe it took you some time to really kind of see the truth of the matter when it comes to another person and really kind of accept that it may not have been a good match. And also, I see this as a situation where, you know, you've learned from past mistakes, like where you've been, you know, kind of like blindsided, or maybe you've been confused, or there have been some things that have kind of come up. You've learned from some of those mistakes and how to see more clearly. Anyway, the Tower card coming up in the right now is like this like, oh shit moment where you're like, am I really doing this? Is this a good idea? You know, am I setting this situation up to potentially fall? And, you know, could it be something that could be like really chaotic? We've got to say hi to our friend. They made an appearance. Gotta love the spammers that are coming in here. Thank you. And the Tower card can be like this moment of like reckoning, right? And I really feel like this is Pluto going through your 5th house where, you know, now that Pluto's in there, you could be realizing where you're afraid of love, or you're afraid of vulnerability, or you're afraid of being seen, or losing yourself in a romantic relationship. And so like we can find the middle ground. It doesn't have to be, you know, that you're deathly afraid of vulnerability, and it doesn't have to be that you're kind of getting lost in a relationship and kind of getting carried away and getting stuck. We can find the middle ground. By being rational and communicating and expressing your thoughts and your feelings and being direct with them, you can avoid some of this stuff. I would also encourage you like not to psych yourself out. Like I feel like with like the 8 of Swords and the Tower card, you can definitely psych yourself out. Like there can be a sense of you being like, I always get hurt, things don't work out, like, so like what's the point? And like there can be a sense of you becoming a little cold or detached with that King of Swords. Venus Virgo, I accept breadcrumbs in love, and it's in your 12th house whole sign. So there's that too. And you know, you're going to see like the South Node coming into conjunction with Venus, which, you know, to be honest with you, yes, accepting breadcrumbs, I can see that with Venus in Virgo, but Venus in the 12th house, if Venus is your chart ruler, means that sometimes there can be some unhealthy habits in relationships because you may feel like you don't deserve what, you know, you do deserve. You don't see your value, or you don't see your worth, or there is a sense of you hiding away and not wanting to sometimes be seen, or that you can get into some complicated like relationships with people where, you know, you end up feeling kind of like isolated and alone because you will choose people who need healing eventually, right? So what's nice is that over the next couple of years, eclipses there are going to clear that out. The South Node is going to go through there. It's going to help you clear that out. This could also be a time where you're doing some like past life regression work or some spiritual healing. Maybe you're working with, you know, a hypnotherapist, or maybe you're working with a therapist, somebody who can kind of help get out of that mindset. And it can be really, really great for doing some kind of like spiritual healing of some kind, right? And you know, sometimes if you're single, you're not in a committed relationship, and Saturn and Neptune go into your 7th house, you could be like, I want to make relationships real. I want to believe in love again. I want to commit, you know, I want to live with someone, because Saturn rules your 4th house. Granted, there's some boundaries, sounds like, because you got kids and, you know, you're a mom. So there's going to be some things that you're going to be cautious when it comes to approaching. But if you've been married already, and you've got Jupiter right now in your 9th house, which could be about a second significant relationship, and like Uranus is going to go there next year, you may be surprised how quickly relationships could actually move forward. And it could be with somebody who's younger and somebody that, you know, you may not have potentially seen a committed future with, and it could actually turn into something over the next 2 years. So in my mind, just communicate some of your concerns and your fears. You know, make sure you guys are at least expressing where you're at. But my goodness, for Virgo risings and Libra risings, you guys got to get ready. Next year in the spring, February, March, April is going to be like the Thunderdome for relationships. Everybody needs to know where the early degrees of Aries is in your chart and the late degrees of Pisces. So all of you guys are going to be in for a little bit of like a reckoning when it comes to relationships at that time. But I feel like you can avoid a lot of this by being aware of maybe some of your pitfalls in relationships in the past, and like course correcting them before it kind of gets to that point. Don't shoot it down before it gets the ability to really kind of develop and grow into something that could be really favorable. I hope that's helpful for you. What's up, girl? It's Taliba. It's always good to see you guys popping in here. Let me see, do I have anybody else? Is there anybody else before I call last call that wants to pop in for a reading? Looks like we got Vanessa. What's up, Vanessa? How's it going? She says, hi, checking in for my sister. She has court this month. Can you fill her in or us on what we're looking at? Will the universe be on her side? Let's take a look. I'm just looking at your question. That's perfect because my other question was about relationships. Let's see. If you guys want to send one in, you can send one in before I finish up. All right, so let's see what Vanessa has to see for her and her sister. And her sister's going to court. So is it going to be in her favor? Just saying hi. Well, I'll see you soon, I'm sure. All right, what can we tell Vanessa and her sister? Crazy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did we not get this in a previous reading? Did we not get the 8 of coins? I feel like we did. 8 of coins is coming up. So working hard on the matter, something going to work for you, getting something done, progress. Progress is the 8 of coins. It's not just being like, oh yeah, you know, we're going to have another, you know, hearing, or we're going to see what we can do. It's like, no, people actually working on her behalf, or somebody who's going to be helping her kind of complete something, getting something done, having something tangible that you can walk away from. You know, the 8 of coins is about like perfecting something and being able to have something that you can then exchange and, you know, you can sell, or something you can pay for, something you can kind of walk away with. So increments of 8, right? So 8 days, 8 weeks, you know, the 8th month. These are things you want to watch for, the number 8. But I feel like this coming up with the confirmation card of the Knight of Cups means walking away from the situation and being like, I finally feel like we're seeing results. I have something that I can depend on, I can rely on. I am finally feeling like I'm getting my money's worth, especially if you're working with somebody who's representing you legally. and feeling like somebody who's getting in there and seeing all of the details and being able to cover everything. It can be a card of success. I mean, this is one of my success cards, although it says that it comes after a long period of time of working and waiting for situations to change. This can also mean that there is some kind of proof of this is what I've done. This is what I have kind of prepared. It can be about her being like, this is what I have sent the kids to support them. This is what I have kind of prepared in my home space. This is what I have created, to make it possible to kind of have them in my life again and be spending time with them. These are the steps that I've taken. There's a lot of proof that kind of comes up with this card as well. So proving, what she has kind of put forth and walking away from a situation, Knight of Cups, kind of feeling more emotionally fulfilled and being like, yeah, it's been a lot of work, but, I ended up kind of seeing some results from it and it ended up kind of going in my favor. It was worth, the effort or the time or the money that I put into this particular situation. Getting results, basically, is what I see. So watch for that, definitely. I feel like that Knight of Cups can also be somebody who's coming in to help you or speak on your behalf, or somebody who's taking your side, or somebody who's willing to speak for you and be like, yeah, this is like the direction that we're going in, or this is the work that she's done, and like that aiding your case in some way. So you're going to have lots of physical proof or something to kind of prove your status, and also that you're capable of being able to kind of take on the responsibility of being able to see them, care for them, spend time with them, that kind of stuff. Very positive emotional shifts from that. Also, brown candles. That's what you want. Brown candles for your court case stuff. That definitely kind of helps you clear some of that stuff up at this time. Road opener stuff too can be helpful as well. So you can do stuff on Wednesdays. You can do orange candles or road opener candles also. Anyway, I hope that that's helpful for you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me on a Friday night. You can catch me here most Fridays. Might change a little bit because there might be a little bit of traveling going on this month, but stay subscribed to the channel so that way you can be alerted as to when we're doing the lives. We're generally here around 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. That's 4 p.m. on the Pacific Coast. That is 7 p.m. on the East Coast. And make sure you subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and join me next week for the full moon that we're going to be doing those readings in Gemini. First question was about 40 minutes ago about relationships, and you're answering for Stacy. There were 2 super chats. I can hold until next time. Hold on, I just want to make sure that I don't miss anything. So I have, oh, sorry, I saw your other one here, Rosie. So it looks like there was a single card. So you got the one for the what do you need to worry about? Okay, so you have one more card, sorry. Hi, peace and light. One card, any outlook for friends or dating? I'm 40 and friends mean more than a boo. Sorry, I don't know how I missed that one. Well, let's see what I can give you. What do you need to know about friends or dating? You get the 5 of Wands. Okay, so one thing I'll say about this card is that this can be a card where you feel like you're going back and forth between 2 things. And not that it's, I guess it can feel like it's conflicting energy. Like that's possible. But 5 of Wands is also about being like, one seems like it's definitely a lot more of a struggle or a lot more work than the other one. 5 of Wands is also just kind of like there's so many things that are kind of conflicting or challenging about being able to feel like you can maintain both or maintain a relationship, or that you're pushing for something, and like there's always some kind of back and forth. Like you'll meet somebody where there's an interest and then you're like, no, you know what, I'm not so interested. And then you meet somebody that you're interested in and then you're feeling like there's some kind of like barrier that's going on between the 2 of you. What's interesting is that the confirmation card was the Knight of Cups. So I shuffled it, it was still at the bottom. So that's also saying like, you may be finding that there's resistance because you're waiting for somebody to come in that doesn't create as much of a challenge. Somebody who isn't pushy, somebody who isn't making you decide between your friends or a relationship. There is a sense of ease about them. Usually Knights will come in around the time of their element. So we've got, Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. So with the Knight of Cups, look for those signs. There can be something that's kind of brewing closer to like February, March time as we're getting close to Pisces. But it's not going to be somebody who's going to make you choose. It's going to be somebody who kind of comes on in a much more sensitive way. They're not pushy. They're kind of romantic, and like they'll wear their heart on their sleeve. So they will be offering to kind of connect with you, but there's no sense of pressure. She says, I'm in Manhattan in traffic, so this is kind of a perfect metaphor. And the other thing is that this might be somebody who kind of wins you over. Like it might be somebody where you're like, I prioritize my friends, like I'm more focused on friends than dating, like whatever. And somebody who will kind of see that and go like, okay, whatever, like call me when you're done. You know, they're not threatened by that is like your focus right now, or they're not going to make you feel like you have to choose, or they'll say, oh, I'll kind of come along, right? Somebody who's kind of go with the flow. And it might surprise you because you might find that this person kind of grows on you and you're like, okay, this is weird. Like there isn't like a challenge. There's no drama. Like what's the catch? And it may take you a little bit of time to kind of feel like you're shifting your perspective in terms of creating much more time or focus on a relationship. But like this person will probably kind of grow on you. So watch for like a water sign that can kind of come through with that. And notice where this person just has a sense of like ease. It's not something that you feel like you have to like force or you have to kind of push. It'll happen naturally. Okay. Sorry, I don't know how I didn't see that. So focus on your second question. I didn't see your first one. Mercury retrograde. Anyway, so thank you guys for joining me. I will catch all of you here soon. I'll be back next week. I'm actually be back on Sunday. We're going to talk astro weather, all about Mercury going direct. So you don't want to miss that. And if you want to see more of me and my work, you want to get a personal reading, check out my website in the link below at beyondtheveiltarot.com. That's it for me. You guys enjoy your weekend. Stay safe out there and enjoy. I'll catch you back here next time. Take care.